Hey everyone, Matron here, bringing you another StarCraft 2 commentary. This time a game between myself and Quirkedkirk. This is the finals of the Scarlet Crusade realm SC2 Tournament. Quirkedkirk is a diamond level random player, rated about 1300, and I'm diamond as well, a little bit lower than that, and play mostly as Protoss, which I'm playing here. So Kirk has spawned as the Zerg here on the east side of Metalopolis, and I've spawned as the red Protoss on the north side. So close positions here. Might see some air battles. Might see some macro on a larger map like this. This was my choice for a map, and loser gets to choose the second map, and then loser of that one gets to choose the third map. It's a best of 3 series, and this will be game 1. Sending out my scout first of all. Looks like Kirk has spotted me and is pulled back so not to give away his position. I'm going for a bit more of an economic build here. Looks like a 13 gateway. I'm gonna spot this Overlord here and let him know that I see him. So it looks like he has a spawning pool coming, about maybe a 12 pool. No gas yet, so we probably won't see speedlings. Now that his position has been given away, he can send in this Overlord for more scouting, see whether I'm opening up with 2 gates or a gate in cybernetics. His spawning pool is almost complete, but no gas yet. We'll see if he's going to do some sort of fast expand build here. Up to 19 drones, and looks like he's got 6 Zerglings coming now as well. So going to do a double gateway, as I do see these Zerglings pop out, and I am wary of the early lings. Didn't do a great job here with my wall off. Sort of put this pylon in a bad spot. Wasn't going to be able to shift this gateway forward, so there's more than one space worth of space here, or 1 unit worth of space. There's also a spot here and a spot right under there, which I'm going to have to block off. So need to do a better job of that next time. The Zealot is going to engage these 6 Zerglings and probably go down. They got a good partial surround on it. Going to have to pull off some probes to take on these Zerglings. One thing I did was I attacked the probes, or the Zerglings. As the probes got low, I tried to pull them off and bring a different set of probes, something I've seen pros do in their games. Wasn't very successful, as I did still lose a number of probes there, as I lost 6 units total. Looks like 5 probes and a Zealot. If we look at the worker count, I'm at 17 to his 15, so the early pool did put him back a little bit economically. He's throwing down a Roach Warren, and it looks like he's not going to pursue the Zergling harass anymore. So I do have a second Zealot about to come out, going to be able to complete this wall off, and do have Warp Gate Tech researching as well. Trying to spread pylons best I can, that way I have vision in case he tries any sort of Muto harass. I can get my stalkers into position quickly. Zerg's one of the races I've been having trouble with, especially Mutalisks. Been trying Blink Stalkers. Haven't yet used Storms against them, so we'll see how I deal with things in this game, or whether he even goes Mutalisks. He has thrown up a lair here. Just continuing in my base, throwing up another gateway, and now a robotics facility as well. Doing some scouting here with that Stalker, seeing if I can pick off any extra Overlords. It looks like he's got it in the corner here. And going to push out with these 2 Zealots just to see whether he has this expansion up yet. He's about to finish it, and it looks like he has a number of Roaches as well, I'm going to see here. So he's pretty far ahead right now. He's got a nice small army, he's got an expansion. I don't have much in the way of army. I may be a little bit higher tech once this robotics facility does come out, And you see I have a lot of money saved up. So once this warp gate tech finishes, need to warp in units very quickly. If he decides to move out with these units, he could put some good pressure on my zealots. Looks like I'm going to get up an immortal as a response to those roaches, as the roaches are armored and take extra damage from the immortal. I'm going to try to position my stalkers along the road here, so if he's coming along, they're going to get shot at, or be able to do some shooting, and throwing my zealots down in front. I want to make sure I can get a good surround with my zealots. I don't want him taking advantage of this small ramp here. Looks like his units are in position for some sort of attack, and he does have control of the watchtower here. Does have an overlord in this position, so I can't do any warp prism drop down there. I do have an immortal out and warping in more stalkers. I now have a larger army than he does. It looks like he's possibly just droning up. Looks like he's tech to hydras as well. I'd like to see him get up an evolution chamber, since the hydras and roaches share upgrades, and maybe get an early upgrade. Looks like he is going to just send in these zerglings just to poke around, see what he can say. At this point I have a much larger army, going to be able to surround these roaches. Should have microed back that one zealot so I didn't lose it. That zealot was already low from poking him initially. And just going to make sure that he doesn't have any other units positioned around my base, overlords for sight, etc. And then might do a push out of my own. So it looks like he's made an overseer here with that overlord and thrown down a changeling. I did see that, so I'm going to go and move to take that out. He is going to be able to see this robotics facility, though he did see the immortal earlier, so he knows what's what, or what sort of tech I'm going for. He's positioning these hydralisks and roach very well. Again, if I move along the path here, he's going to be able to shoot down. I'm getting out an observer to go do some scouting in his base as well. At this point, I did throw up a nexus. I felt good after he did that initial attack. I felt safe. Again, I have a larger army than he does, so feeling like I can handle the expo. Plus, I had seen that he had thrown up his expo earlier. If we look at the income tab, he's at 34 harvesters to my 26, so I really need to start ratcheting up the pro production and get even with the Zerg. I don't want him to get too far ahead in the economic game. Protoss units do tend to be a bit stronger, but if he can get a base or two bases ahead of me, he's just going to be able to out-macro. Again, placing pylons all around so I can warp in units here, anywhere I need. If we look at the production tab, he is working on the upgrades now, grooved spines, so the Hydra range, as well as Zergling speed. Now just pumping out more Hydras, again in great position here. They could take out half my army if I'm not careful. And I'm just going to pull back here. I did see the Hydralisks with my observer here, so I threw down a robotics bay in response. I'm going to try to get up some quick Colossus and take those down. Again, the Hydralisks, especially because they form in such a nice concave, are very susceptible to Colossus damage. Did a transfer from my main over to this natural here. Need to get more guys on gas, and looks like we're going to hunker down for a bit of a macro game here. Another changeling goes down, going to take that down, keeping stalkers in my mineral line in case any Muta harass comes. He does have this overseer here, and I think he attacked my observer before. I think at some point I lose it. Yeah, there it goes. So I need to bust out another observer. Looks like I'm doing that right now in response. And my first Colossus is coming out, and I'm also researching the Thermal Lance upgrade. Very important versus Zerg. You can outrange those Hydralisks. And if you can keep everything in front of the Colossus with the Zealots tanking, they can do so much damage. So keep me on the high ground for now, in case any sort of attack moves out, and just working to make more probes 2 at a time from each nexus. At this point I could possibly throw down a third base. He has yet to go to a third. He should probably take one as well, though it looks like he is just creating more and more Hydralisks, another 8 coming. So if we look at the unit counting station, 21 Hydralisks, 28 Zerglings, to my small army of Zealots, Stalkers, and just one Colossus. Looks like I am going to, well, he is going to take this tower back, so good map control by him. He's got Zerglings all over the place, and an Overseer here, which he keeps dropping annoying Changelings with. I probably missed a Changeling or two during this game, though I did kill a number of them. I have my units spread all around just in case any sort of harass comes, Mutalisks. Always fearful of that. I did see that he was going for Hydralisks, so any sort of Muta harass might be small. I know he has a lot of Hydralisks. Did move out my Observer again. He's going to send out a Zergling. He's going to see my entire army here, or at least a good portion of it. If you do see a Zergling like that move out, you like to push forward a Stalker or 3 and just kill it with the Stalker so he can't make it all the way into your army. He does see that Colossus, so let's see if he's got a bunch of Corruptors coming as a response. So Corruptors very good. They're 2 armor, so it takes a while to take them down. 200 health as well. If my Stalkers are able to focus them down, the Colossus can do a lot of damage, but just not a lot of Stalkers for me here. Spending my gas on the Colossus here. I am establishing a 3rd base here. Typically, I like to go off of 2 bases. If the game lasts much longer than 12-15 minutes, I don't really know what to do with myself. Looks like he's pushing forward for an attack here. These Corruptors are going to be a lot of trouble for me. If they're going to be able to focus down these Colossus, I could be in grave danger. I am going to engage first, like to do that so that they're not able to set up. Then just going to pull back here. Need to micro back these Colossus. Down goes one Colossus. I'm going to try to focus down these Corruptors with the Stalkers. A lot of these Hydralisks aren't attacking yet. Warping in more Stalkers. If I can take down these Corruptors, this Colossus is going to be able to do a lot of damage to this Hydralisk. Trying to keep the Colossus in the back, doing a ton of damage to these Hydralisks, and the Stalkers should be able to rip apart the Hydralisk as that Colossus does go down. So, I was able to fend off that attack. A lot of Hydralisks weren't attacking there at the start, and I was able to do a little bit of micro with my Colossus and take them down before they could do too much damage to my army. Again, I am on 4 warp gates right now and a robotics facility, so as I establish this 3rd base, I need to get more warp gates up. I'm throwing down a Twilight Council. At this point, after I was able to survive the initial Corruptors and Hydras, I figured that I might have to go towards Psionic Storm, as the Corruptors would just be too much for any of the Colossi if I started pushing those out. I'm going to do a little bit of poking myself, try to take down a few forces, good force fields by me. Going to limit the surface area of these Stalkers so the Zerglings aren't able to get a surround on them. And now it looks like he's got some Hydralisks doing some harass here. I was warping in Stalkers, and I did have a few in my